demo shop's on sale. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. It's time for that weekly mod collection demo shop update. You're in for a treat this week. But just a small one, because look at our tiny little goofy ES335 bass that we're rocking here. They called it the ES335 Super Short Scale Bass in deep grape metallic for $4,000. And on launch day, I was honestly very confused about what this thing even is. But now that I'm looking at it again, this is just a regular Gibson 335 that's been converted into a bass. Because if we go to the spec sheet, it says it's a 24 3/4 inch scale length, which that's normal for a guitar, but in bass territory, that is super short. For example, the EBOs, they generally have around a 30.5 inch scale length, but many players consider a full scale bass about 34 inches, such as like a Thunderbird. So congratulations, mod collection team, you've somehow made a full-size guitar look tiny. You've got those exposed humbuckers, they straight up replaced our bridge, they give it a nice deep purple finish, I like that. But the reason they had to refinish our headstock in a matching color is because they probably had to plug the initial tuner holes and re-drill it for the new bass ones. Unfortunately, unless they replace the headstock veneer, usually witness lines will poke their head through eventually. But it looks pretty cool right now. And this one is Demo Shop Serial 71 with Hipshot tuners. If that sounds cool to you, it did end up selling for $4,000, so I don't know if it would intonate and play well or not, but it was certainly interesting. Next up for interesting, look at this Alpine White Custom. It's $5,000, but it looks like vanilla yogurt to me because it's got that whole straight white with a little bit of cream. You've got some zebra stuff going on to kind of tone it down a little bit. And then you have aged gold hardware. I'm not sure if that works or not, but we've got a Moto truss rod cover, Perloy tuner tips, and matching backplates. And then the SG Special comes in metallic blubbery satin. With Gibson's new limited colors edition coming out, I think this actually looks pretty good. They could sell a lot of these, I bet. If it was done up in full gloss, that would just be fantastic. Looks great with our dark rosewood board. And hey, look at that, matching Gibson logo. And paying tribute to the late 60s SG Melody makers with the natural neck. But how do you feel about bright Goldtop? It's a standard 50s that lives up to its name. But on top of that, you have extra aged hardware and neck pickup cover, a faux tortoiseshell pick guard, and then we've got some black speed knobs. This one doesn't look like it matches the rest. Kind of surprised to not see that have like a special push or something. But alright, the back is red, so the tortoiseshell kind of matches that. But check out this SG Modern, it's a little bit strange. They named it SG Racer, but oh! You know what they did? This is a Scorpion SG. There was actually a run of Les Paul Customs called the Scorpion Les Pauls that unfortunately was not a Scorpion signature guitar, nor did it have a Scorpion on the back of the headstock, but it had a very similar design to this, and it was a transparent finish, not only on your center stripes here, but also on the edge. They left our two humbuckers alone, as an SG Modern typically has, but then they just threw a P90 in there for good measure. I like that. But did they do the back? Well, at first I was gonna say no, but just the contrast, and yes, it's blue. And it looks like they played around with the neck a little bit too. And holy cow, independent volumes, so that's extra control, but they also gave you coil taps to play around with. That was a lot of fun for $2,800. Not surprised it sold. And then the studio got a super overhaul. It's very out there in pink. And it looks like a Barbie Les Paul from here, especially with our white cosmetics with the knobs and the pickup rings. But if you look at our pick guard, it's got like a color shifting green effect going on. And is that painted on binding that we're seeing? Well, if we look at the headstock, yeah, that looks about like what they did, but it's a sparkly green. They put a new Gibson logo over it. It's unique, I'll give it that. Not my favorite color combination, but let's try out the back. Well, I don't know what I was expecting, but something a little bit crazier than that. Like, I thought the sides were just straight up green, but they also appear to be this pink hue. But then our back plates are green. It kind of reminds me of the St. Patrick's Day SG we documented a couple of years ago. But we do have a Stinger outline on this. That's interesting. And hooray, we do have a side profile shot. So it is a little bit of a painted on binding on the top as well as the edge. Maybe not for me, but I could see somebody digging that. But how about Ebony Space Sparkle? It's a Les Paul Jr. for $2,000. If we adjust the colors, you can kind of see what they're talking about. I bet that'd look all right in person. But that's a nice touch on the headstock, the old style Gibson logo. We just need some sort of a spaceship on it. But I think this is a better representation of what you'll see all over the instrument. But whoa, so this is a new thing they're doing, the whole painted on binding, except for this time, it's not necessarily binding, it's just leaving a natural stripe down the center. I like that. Although I'm curious how that would look in person, because I feel like a black sparkle finish can pull it off being on the entire guitar. But alright, so the back has a similar sparkle, and then they left the neck natural. I feel like that needs the stinger, and then everything would tie in. It's still looking for a home right now, but I'm glad they're trying something new. Next up, Satin Unburst 50 Standard. Looks like they threw in the T-type humbuckers and speed knobs. It's got a really good weight for it. And to be fair, that's a really nice top, but kind of lame within the mod collection. Because we're used to things like this: Devilry Red, Voodoo Poker Chip P94 in the neck, humbucker uncovered, all blacked out, super reddish ebony finish, blacked out headstock, and evil exuding out the back. For a classic, that one's pretty cool. Not surprised it sold. And then lastly, Beach Ball Blue Studio. For $2,000, I like it. In the early 80s, occasionally you can find rare Bahama Blue Studios, and they have a very similar vibe to them, but our neck pickup's upside down. I wonder if that's the new greenie set. Well, it says it's got the coil splitting, phase switching, and true bypass, all that good stuff. No mention of the greenie buckers, so it's just a reverse neck pickup. But there we go, nice, complete refin. And it found a loving home. So very nice, only 3 left standing. Now we've got the UK mod collection. They didn't really do much again. They swapped around our pickups. Okay, they gave bumblebee caps, that's interesting. And tortoiseshell backplates. And don't get me wrong, that's actually a really nice top. I've just come to expect more out of a mod collection guitar. And then we got the Trad Pro 5 Satin. Looks like they at least upgraded this one all to gold, and the maple top complements that. But that wraps it up for the mod collection. Now let's talk demo shops. I caught these guys early this week. They had like 30 to 40 new drops on Thursday, which is unusual. And then about an hour later, a big 15% off sale happened. Now this is actually just a reverb sale in general. It's part of the USA Labor Day deals. I wouldn't read too much into that. Most shops just raise their price and then say, oh yeah, I'm on sale now. That's why I don't participate in any of this stuff. But the demo shop is a rare occasion where 15% off really does mean 15% off. And on top of the 15% off sale within the demo shop, remember they still have their free Maestro pedal if you buy a guitar this exact week. So you can get a Comet Chorus for free. Look at this beautiful hand select top 50 standard. So that would have been like 1900-ish. That's a good deal. For roughly $2,000, you could get an Adam Jones Les Paul standard. That was a nice one. That cool SG Custom in Seafoam Mint Satin, you can pick that up for $4,800 if that's a little bit more appealing to you. And the rest I just thought were interesting tops. So this is a Les Paul Classic on sale for $1,600. I just thought it was a very nice plain top. You don't see good plain tops very often anymore. My definition of a good plain top is one that doesn't necessarily look like it has tons of figuring in a photo, but when you have it in person, it does dance a little bit and you've got some wood grain to appreciate. This 59 standard will not last long at $4,800. That's pretty nice. Those were $6,500 brand new. I think today they're about $67. So nearly $2,000 off. Granted, it's not the craziest top we've ever seen, but it's pretty accurate. The 60 standard had some cool wood grain, and this was a pretty flamey one. I'm personally a very big fan of this top, Ultra Uniform, and that's why it sold, because it was only like $2,100. If an R9 wasn't to your taste, there was one RO on sale as well. Similar story price-wise, can't go wrong here. It's even a great top. But if super big chunky necks are your style and gold tops, there's an R7 reissue, you cannot beat that price for a newer one. In fact, as long as you like their big necks, they are relatively affordable, all things considered. If you're in the market for a reissue custom shop Gibson, that is. And oh wow, another R9, $4,400 this time. Yeah, that's gonna get snapped up and resold. That's a little bit too cheap. There's a little bit of meat left on the bone, or somebody is going to buy it and just get a great deal and enjoy playing it. In fact, I would say that's probably the best deal all week. That is a perfect top. I'm ashamed that's still listed. Now we got a Satin Unburst with kind of an interesting top. Another one on a 50 standard. But I really like this gold top. It has a nice muted tone to it with this kind of lighter rosewood fretboard. It's got some strange scratching within the clear coat. Or actually, that's probably within the paint coat and then they clear coated over it. But then you've got a nice natural back matching. But this top was fairly interesting, and it's mainly because I think they messed up the burst paint job. Because you got this ringy formation over here, right? So whoever was spraying it, I think they were supposed to go a little bit less wide on the red, but they wanted to match it up with that, and then it kind of became overburst. But I like it, but I also like the Norland era weird stuff too. It's got great flame on that side as well. That's one of those ugly ducks that I just happen to to enjoy. Someone should give that one a home, especially at $2,000. It could be your swan. Then we had a Trans Cherry Classic with some Dirty Fingers Plus pickups, and then an Olive Drab Flying V with modified pickups. Now, our European demo shops, they didn't have much. Like there's a 345, a Les Paul Jr., there's an Access Custom that sold for $5,000. This was by far the most fascinating. It's a standard 60s. They call it a figure top, but they put gold hardware on it, and apparently they have piece knobs yet. It really does transform this cherry sunburst into more of like a natural burst with red edges. And then you still got the red back, but they lightened it up a bit with the cream plastics. And then finally, the UK demo shop. They had a 70s Deluxe, and then they had a relatively interesting 59 Standard. Wow, is that a factory Bigsby? Nice. That had to have been like a dealer exclusive run or a custom order for someone that got messed up. That actually looks pretty good if that's the spec you want. That's a good top. But alright, Troglodytes, that's going to wrap up our recap this week. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, consider subscribing. I post videos like this every day. And you might even enjoy this next one.